We are going to start with the matrices and determinant, and I have the three PPTs as a part 1, 2, and 3. And today we are going to start with what matrix is, what are the types of matrices, which operations we can perform, transpose of matrix, what do we mean by symmetric and skew symmetric, and then after exercise. Let's hope so that half of the PPTs will be covered by us today because half of the time is over in doing the integral equations and attendance. So let's start with this. As we are already aware of what a matrix is, it is a rectangular array of numbers, real or complex numbers. Means when we can arrange the numbers in a form of a table, then that arrangement is known as a matrix. Right? And if we talk about a particular element of a matrix, then it is denoted by M comma J, or normally we use I comma J. So what I and J represent? I and J represent the element of the ith row and jth column. Here if you have noted MJ, so M means we are talking about the mth row and jth column. And here you can see dot dots are appearing in the whole matrix. So what they are showing is, they are showing that in between there are the elements and we have shown some of them. Okay, so it is a whole matrix which is represented by capital A, and this is how we used to represent the matrices. Normally we take capital letters A, B, C, or X, Y, Z, and regarding the elements we always take the small alphabets to represent it. Correct? If we talk about more what the things are appearing over here, whenever talking about a vertical arrangement of the elements, that is known as a column. And if we talk about the horizontal representation of the elements, they are the rows. Okay, so this is the uh, representation that we have of a matrix. Now if we talk about that, actually why we are learning matrices and where the matrix come into the existence, because if we are aware of the fact, then obviously it is good. If we are not aware of the fact, then we are just learning a concept of maths which is of no use. So here if we talk about, let us take an example, then we will go to the order of matrix. If we talk about, suppose here we have two classes that I am taking now. Suppose I have one class and two class, and I'm going to take some of the students. Let me write down how many boys are there and how many girls are there. I'm not aware of it actually, but let me take some arbitrary figure. That in my first class there are, let me take 5 boys, and the rest 6 are girls. In my second class, let me take, we have 10 boys and 12 are girls. Correct? So if we have something that can be segregated in the different parts and I want to write it down in a form of a table, so here it is very easy to represent something as a matrix form. So it always have a header. When we are working just normally in the mathematics, we are not taking the headers, we are just learning the different operations on the matrices. But actually in the real life, if you have to work with any of the thing which can be represented as a matrix, it follows some of the headers. Another example that I can give you is, suppose for my house I am purchasing stationery and I want to write down that which brand should I go for. Correct? Actually, we are not going for the brands. We are not so much rich. But let us take, for example, that there are three companies. Let me take Natraj. Let me take it as A. We have Doms, a company. Let me take it as B. And another company that we can take is any other. Let me take any other company. Classic. Okay, we know about the classic notebooks. So let me take that these are the three brands we are working with, and what I have to purchase, I have to purchase some of the pens, I have to purchase some of the notebooks, I have to purchase some of the erasers, and I want to purchase some of the crayons. Right? So what I can go for it, I can find out the rates of all these items, and I can write down what is the cost from A. So I can write down here the four elements, the four cost, the items of these four costs from company A. Similarly, from company B, I can note down the values, and from company C, I can note down the values. And then after, what I want to see as a whole price of a particular company or whatever I want to analyze, easily I can go for the analysis. These matrices are just mean to analyze something, a data which can be represented in rows and columns. Right? So these are some examples that we can take from the real life. And now onwards, when we are going to work on the matrices, we are not going to discuss it. Why? Because we are focusing upon the operations to be learned, and which type of things can be done on a matrices. And matrices are not only appearing in the day-to-day life, but actually it has a very important part in the research also. Whenever we are looking for some of the solutions of the equations, or we are looking for something new to be devised, matrices are very important. As if we talk about the rocket launch software, they are also looking for the times versus distance, so they can take the different devices and they can note down how much time they are spending in doing a particular task. So a lot of applications are there. So these are regarding why we are learning matrices and what is their use. Now let's go for the operations. Let's do the next thing. We are talking about the matrix has with m rows. If we have a matrix with m rows and n columns, then it has an order m cross n. For example, here if we talk about this example, here we have how many rows? This is first row, second row. Always horizontal will be the row and the vertical will be the column. So it is 2 cross 2. So normally we used to write down this order as 2 cross 2. Similarly, here if we take, here I have taken 3 brands in the 3 rows and these 4 items in the 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So always we used to write down rows first, row into column. So here it is a matrix of order 3 cross 4. So here we have some examples. Let's skip it. So here we have orders given for each of the matrix. So you have to go for it. That are the things written clearly or not? You can practice it. Correct. Now we have some example that a matrix has 16 elements. Which is the possible number of columns it can have? Now it's very clear from this. We are talking about 16 elements and we want to arrange it in the rows and columns. So how many number of columns it can have? Here we have the possibility as the 16 element can be written in a one single row. It means how many possible columns? 16. Correct. If I are arranging it in the two rows, then 8 it can be there. If we are arranging the 16 element in 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, then obviously each row has 4 elements like this. So what we are actually doing, we are just writing out how we can write down 16 as a product of two numbers, 1 into 16, 2 into 8, 4 cross 4, 8 into 2, 16 into 1. So the first one is always giving me the rows number and the second one is giving me the column number. Correct. The next is the question is given, we have to write down the matrix given by the rule. So here the matrix is not given but a rule is given. So let's do one or two things. How to find it out? We have to take I value. Here actually it is not mentioned. So it must be specified that what should be I and what should be J. Then we can calculate Ij. So here we can say that I can take the values 1 and 2 and J can take the values 1, 2 and 3. As the order of matrix is 2 cross 3, and now we can find out the A11, A12, A13, A21, 22 and 23. So we have to first find out the values. Which is actually here they have not mentioned. They are saying that here I can take the values 1 and 2, but actually it is not so. I can take the values anyone because the formula is not saying anything. Correct? So here what we have to go for, based upon whatever the I and j values are given, we can substitute the values of I and j in the formula, and then on evaluating we can calculate the particular elements of the matrix, and after that we can just put them in the matrix form and that will be your matrix. Okay. Now after a brief introduction, let's go through the type of matrices. Matrices are named as per their properties. If we talk about, we have a matrix and it has only the elements in a row. So what it is known as? It is known as a row matrix. You can see here we have the elements of the matrix arranged only in row. Row means we have only one single row, column can be anyone. And we have learned row means horizontal pattern. When we are talking about column matrix we have only one column. So you can learn it as one column is there, and in row matrix we have only one row. We are talking about one row, so it is a row matrix. When we are talking about a one single column, any number of elements can come, it is a column matrix. Then we have a zero matrix. Zero matrix means any of the matrix with all the elements as zeros. Correct? It has no specific order, it could be any, but the all elements should be zeros. Okay? Then after we have a square matrix. Square, we know a square is a figure having all the sides equal. Okay? So here if we want this type of figure, so obviously the elements should be in the same number. So what we mean to say that if the number of rows is equal to the number of columns, then this type of matrix is known as a square matrix. Here what is the order? The order of the square matrix here that I have shown is 3 cross 3, 3 rows, 3 columns. So whenever we have n cross n type of thing, rows and columns are same, so it is a square matrix. Then we have a diagonal matrix. I think all of us are aware of the square figure, and what about its diagonal? So when we call that we have the element coming only in the diagonal one, and this is normally we call it as a main diagonal or the principal diagonal. So whenever the elements are coming only in the diagonal, all other elements are zero, it is a diagonal matrix. So we can say Aij is equal to 0 for I not equal to j, and otherwise Aij has a value, and diagonals are only possible for the square matrix. Correct? So for diagonal matrix to exist, the matrix should be a square matrix. Then we have a scalar matrix. Scalar matrix means where Aij is equal to alpha if I is equal to j, and otherwise it is 0. It means whatever the matrix is. Normally again we can say this type of pattern is possible only for the square matrix. Here we are saying whenever the elements lying on the diagonal, here we have the condition when I is equal to j, and if you remember we have written the notations as this is our a11, a12, a13. If I represent this, so it is actually a11 first row first column element, this is a22 element of second row second column, and this is our a33. And you can see here only for these three position I value is equal to the j value. So here I is equal to j is equal to 1, 2 or 3. So whenever I is equal to j and we are getting a constant value, a scalar value, so this type of matrix is known as a scalar matrix. So it's easy and you are getting it. The next one is identity matrix. Identity goes to 1. So here the same thing is there if we have the scalar matrix, but the element lying on the diagonals are all 1 and others are 0. So this type of matrix is known as an identity matrix. Correct? So this is what the definition of identity matrix is. Now we have the equality of matrices. Here what we are saying about the equality is two matrices A and B. Now here when we have taken, till now we have used only capital A notation and the element as Aij. Now we have taken capital B matrix also, and see here how we are representing the element by Bij. So here we are saying that the two matrices are equal if they have same order and the elements are also same. For example, if we say these two matrices are equal, correct? Actually, we have not been provided with what is ABCD, but it is given that if these two are equal, then we can guess what is ABCD. Obviously, the value should be same as on the given matrix. So how we are comparing? We are saying this A11 is A and here it is 1. So A is equal to 1. This A12 I am saying about the Aij. Okay? So here B should be minus 2, C should be minus 3, and this D should be 4. Correct? Now we have the next is how can we add the two matrices. So what is the rule? We have that if we have two matrices A and B and they are of the same order, here you can see we have emphasized on same order, because the two matrices can only be added when their order is same. And why we are saying so? Because we are going to add the ijth element of matrix A to the ijth element of matrix B. So this is how we can obtain their sum. For example, if we have this as a matrix A and B, how to obtain the sum? If I go for the first row, it is 1 plus 2 elements at the same position, and 3 plus 3 and 4 plus 1. Similarly for the second and third row. Correct. So this is how we are getting the sum a plus b. It's very simple. Huh? As we are doing the simple addition, it is the same thing coming over here, but the elements are being written in the rows and columns. So again, the normal things has to be done, but yes, in the form of a matrix. Now the next is multiplication of a matrix by a scalar. Okay, one more thing here, we are talking about the addition. In the same way, if we are looking for the negative sign, means subtraction, so it also has to be done in the same way as we are doing for addition. In the same way we can do the subtraction. Correct. A minus b can be written easily by subtracting the two elements at the same position in matrix A and B. Correct. Now we have a multiplication of a matrix by a scalar. First, let me elaborate what is the scalar quantity we are saying. Scalar just means a single number, that we are not going to take it as a matrix, right? A single element. So here if we talk about that A is a matrix and K is a scalar, means any number, then how we can write it down K into A? By taking each of the element of matrix A multiplied by that scalar. It means if we have A given as here 1 3 4 1 2 3 minus 1 1 1, then how to write in two way? Now what is 2? 2 is not a matrix, 2 is a simple number and we are calling it as a scalar. So how we can obtain 2A is by multiplying this 2 with each and every element of the matrix. So it will convert it to as 2 6 8 2 4 6 and minus 2 2 2. Okay, so it's very simple multiplication by scalar. Now if we talk about properties of addition, then most of the properties might be you have already learned while working with the simple numbers, and they are all followed by the addition of matrices. Means here if we see the first property is commutative property. Commutative property means A plus B is same as B plus A. If I add 2 plus 3, it is same as 3 plus 2. So this is what it means. Here we are talking with the same thing for the matrices. Similarly, if we talk about associative property, means A, B, C and the three matrices, and here you can note on one of the things that we are talking about the addition when they are of the same order. You can't add the matrices which are of different order. So that is a condition. After that, when they are comfortable, we use the word comfortable normally in mathematics, that these matrices are comfortable for addition or for the product. So when they are comfortable, here in addition we are saying they must be of the same order. Okay. So here we are saying after that we are looking for the property that A plus B is same as B plus A. If we are adding 2 and then after adding the third one, that is the same as if I am adding first one to the sum of the last 2. So A plus B plus C is same as A plus B plus C, associative property. Then we are taking the scalars in between and saying that if m and n are scalar, then m into A plus B is same as ma plus mb. Means if I take the sum and multiply it with some scalar, it is same as if I am taking the product of scalar into A, scalar into B and then adding the 2. Okay? So this is how we are saying the property is going on. Similarly, if we have two scalars, m and n, then m plus n, the sum of the 2 into A is same as m into A plus n into A. Okay, so let's go for an example. Here we are saying find out x if y is a matrix given as 3 2 1 4 and 2x plus y is given as minus 1 0 minus 3 2. Okay, so we have been provided with y, a matrix, and 2x plus y. So what the first thing we can do, it's just a normal simplification that we can do. Here see y is being provided to us and this is a matrix which is the sum of 2x plus y. So how we can do, we can write down 2x is equal to this. Normally we take it as a square bracket. Here in the presentation it's appearing as this normal bracket, but actually we have to write down the square bracket. Okay. So that we also have to follow. So if I write on this as such minus this y, so if I write on this y, it will come on this side with a negative sign. And if I subtract the two matrices, what it will give me? Let's do minus 1 minus 3 gives me minus of 4, 0 minus 2 gives me minus of 2, minus 3 minus 1 is minus of 4, and 2 minus 4 is minus of 2. Correct? And this is our 2x. So what is our x? X means 1 by 2 of all this. You know? And we know if 1 by 2 is coming as a scalar, as we have multiplied, it is the same way that we can divide. So if we divide the whole by 1 by 2, hope so you're getting it. I am not elaborating it. So it will be minus 2 minus 1, and the next row is also minus 2 minus of. So this is the output. So this is what we have, 2x plus y. 2x can be written as this in the same way, and x is equal to 1 by 2 of this. That will lead to minus 2 minus 1 minus 2 minus 1. Correct? So this is how simply we can find out the solution of a given example in which one matrix is given to us. Twice of x plus another matrix is also given to us. So just by using the simple mathematical operation of addition, subtraction and division, we have obtained the solution. Let's do the next one. We have to find out a matrix C such that A plus B plus C is a zero matrix. So already we are aware of what is zero matrix, and here we have been provided with A and B. So what we have to do? We have to write down a C matrix should be calculated in a way that this A plus B plus C is equal to 0. So it's very simple. We have to add the two matrices that will result in this, and C is equal to this. So what should be C? Hope so you're getting it. It is just all the values of the sum in a negative one, because if I add 4 and minus 4, then only it will give me 0. No? So C matrix is again of the same order because we are adding it, but if it is 4 times 0 here, so we are getting minus 4 minus 1 0, minus 3 minus 1 minus 1, so that it will add it to the sum to give me the answer as 0. Correct? So that we have is multiplication of matrices. Now to find out the multiplication of matrices, let us start with an example. The slide is already in view. Let me take only one rule from this whole, that is that if we have a matrix A which is of order m cross n, and a matrix B of order n cross p, here you can see we are getting matrices of different order. In addition, what we have seen that the order of both the matrices should be same. Correct? Then only we can add them. Here what we are saying, here we are going to say that we can multiply, we can find out the product of two matrices only if the number of columns of A, means this n, is same or equal to the number of rows of B, means here. As we have seen, the first part is always row, the second part of the order is always column. So here we are saying that the two matrices A and B are comfortable for product if the first is of order m cross n and the second is of order n cross p. So here what we have to see is this n should be common in both of them, and then if I am finding out the product of two, then the order that will result as a product will be m cross p. So this is the rule that you have to learn for the product of the two matrices. Correct? It's very simple if you are going to learn it one by one. For addition, we are saying the two must be of the same order. Here we are saying that they are not required to be same, but the condition is if the first matrix is m cross n and the second is n cross p, obviously the orders are different, but the n should be there, which is a common element, means the number of column of the first matrix is same as the number of rows of B. Correct? So this is a condition, and then after we will get a final product as m cross p. And let's see how to find it out. I have not discussed the procedure. Let's discuss over there how we are going to give. Here we have A and B given as, and we are going to find out A into B. So the first thing is we have to write it down, A and B. How we are going to find out? We are going to find out the product of each element of row with the column element. 1 into 3, then 2 into 1 and then 2 into 4. Okay. As a first observation, first let me check they are comfortable for matrix or not, product or not. So here we can see 2 rows and 3 columns. So let me write down 2 rows and 3 columns are here as a order of matrix A. Matrix B, how many rows? 3 rows and column is only 1. So first thing is clear that they are comfortable for the product. And if I see whatever the resultant is, resultant will be 2 cross 1. 2 cross 1 means we are getting only one column and two rows. So here the two elements should appear. Now how we are going to do? We have started with that we are going to find the product of each element of this row with each element of this column, and then we have to add them. So we are going to do 1 into 3, 3 plus. In between you have to write down plus. And the second element with second element 2 into 1 is 2 and 2 into 4 is 8. So this is our first element. And the second is 2 into 3 which is 6 plus 1 into minus of 1 and 4 into 4 gives me 16. Now if we simplify it, whatever the answer is, that is actually the product. So let's see. Here we have the same thing. Coming is 3 plus 2 plus 8, 6 minus 1 plus 16, and the final answer is 13 comma 21. Sorry, 13 and 21 in a column. Okay, so this is how we have obtained the product. Okay. So let us stop here, and in the next class we are going to start with the properties of multiplication of the matrices. So today you have to, or whatever we have learned till today, total 18 slides we have covered. So half of the PPT is over and the half will be discussed in the next class.